All right, this chapter is called The Quadruple Uh-oh. A couple of days later at all city rehearsal, Mr. Matras made a startling announcement to the group. The school district had just put a new policy in place. Evidently, every high school student would now have to perform community service hours every semester in order to graduate, effective immediately. Everybody around me started mumbling and grumbling right away, but I didn't see what the big deal was. I asked Brian, well, Pez, here's the problem. A lot of us already busy after school and Saturdays with this, our regular school bands, sports, jobs, relationships, and just generally trying to have a life and get decent grades. So, yeah. So, some of us may have to drop out of All City in order to do the service hours. That's the big deal. Oh. About an hour into rehearsal, I noticed that Annette and Renee were in their usual spots watching the proceedings. But they weren't watching. They were whispering back and forth at top speed. Now, you know that I don't know much about the inner workings of the girl folk, but I did realize that anything that could bring those two together must have some pretty powerful voodoo to it. By the time we were done playing, Annette and Renee were writing frantically, and not just notes, they were writing paragraphs and lists and charts and graphs. Annette had a calculator. Renee was wielding, I swear to God, a compass or possibly a protractor. I never could remember which is which. It was like they were planning a space mission or something. The band stopped. Annette strode over to the podium. She grabbed Mr. Watras's conducting baton and tapped it onto the music stand, just like he always does. Everyone looked over, and Annette started talking. How many of you are going to have trouble meeting the service requirements and staying in All City? Come on, raise your hands. About 3/4 of the band did. Wouldn't it be great if you could somehow get service credit for being in All City? People were looking interested now. Because I think that Renee over there, hi, Renee waved. I think Renee and I have a way. Listen, guys, I'm sure that you all know that there are families in this town who have dire financial situations. Families that are trying their hardest but just can't seem to make ends meet. Families that could use a helping hand. Am I right? Well, sure she was right, but on the other hand, she was also starting to sound like a street corner preacher. I myself felt vaguely like jumping up and shouting, amen! But I figured it might be wise to find out what I'd be amening about first. Gentlemen of the All City Jazz Band, we have an opportunity here to reach out that helping hand to one of our own. I know you're all aware of the serious health problems that Stephen Alper's brother has had this year. Oh, God. But what you probably don't know is that Jeffrey's disease, leukemia, is extremely, tremendously expensive. The Alper family is struggling to pay their bills. Stephen's mother's had to take a leave of absence from her job to take care of Jeffrey. So just when their need is the greatest, half of their cash flow is gone. Annette stopped for a moment and Biff spoke into the silence. Yeah, we all know about the peasant's brother. What's that have to do with getting the band out of the service requirement? Well, it doesn't have to do with getting you out of the requirement. It has to do with getting the requirement into the band. We can make our concert a benefit for Stephen's family. Renee, can you tell the guys about the numbers? Hi, guys! We did some math here, and this could really work. If we charge, say, $15 a ticket, and there's 1,000 seats in the auditorium here, that's $15,000 right there. And we have a bake sale set up in the lobby. Brian, don't your parents own a bakery? Yeah. Maybe they could donate the stuff or sell it to us at cost. Anyway, I bet we could easily sell 500 pastries or whatever at $1 each. So that brings us to $15,500. Then there's the program. We could get a printer and donate work at cost too. Then we sell ad space. What's the going rate for yearbook pages? $3.50 a page. If we got 15 full pages of ads, that would be where is it? Yeah, that'd be another $5,250 for a total of $20,750. What do you guys think? Yeah, woohoo! Save the peasant family! Personally, I thought my parents were either going to kiss the ground or wring my neck, and I had no idea which. Before everybody left, Annette and Renee got Mr. Atross to agree to the plan, formed committees, designed some flyers and ad sale forms, and even sold one ad. A second trombonist said his parents would buy half the page for their jewelry store. Truly astounding. It was like seeing Bill Gates at age 13 times 2, and half of him was wearing a cheerleader uniform. Yes, I know. That's a weird image. On the way home, I thanked Annette for the idea. She was flying high, I think because now she was really a big part of the concert again. I wasn't sure how I felt. On the one hand, I knew the money would be a big plus for my family, and it'd be great for Jeffrey to have a big special night. On the other hand, I was concerned my parents might go nuts and trash the whole idea. Plus, I know this is shallow, but I wanted the concert to be my big night. One thing was for sure. One way or another, if my rents didn't veto the entire shebang, it was going to be important. As I got out of the van, the driver said, "Hey, listen, kid, I couldn't help overhearing about your brother. That's a tough break. I'm really sorry." Now, here was a lady who had driven the two of us to and from rehearsal twice a week for over a year, and this is the first time she had ever talked to us at all. It was a relief to know that she had the power of speech, but I was struck again by the power of cancer to get attention. For better or for worse, being involved with cancer puts you on everybody's radar screen. Now I had the challenge of floating this proposal to the Rents, and I had to do it right away because Mom and Jeffrey were leaving for Philly in the morning. At dinner, even while I was joking around with Jeffrey, fielding questions from my mom about schoolwork and wondering how my dad could have such a blank facial expression without actually being in a coma, I was nervously waiting for the opportunity to bring the whole thing up. Finally, I seized the day, or I carped the diem, if you want some Miss Poma lingo. My dad mentioned that he had gotten somebody $7,000 on a tax return, and I pounced. Wow, Dad, $7,000. Sounds like a lot of money, huh? Why, yes, Steven, it is. I know a family that could get nearly 3 times that by April 15th. Who? Us! Well, son, our